Okay, guys, welcome to this orientation session for the paper Strategic Business Reporting, the SBR, for the March 2022 examination session. My name is Luqman Rafiq, and I will be the tutor for this specific course of SBR. Welcome to this session. We are actually going to be starting to discuss about this specific course of SBR. In addition to the discussion pertaining to SBR, I shall be taking you people through the SBR syllabus. I will be discussing how the paper is examined, plus how you would be preparing for the exam, and plus the way we conduct the course, the way we actually deliver the course. So that is all something that we are going to be doing. So now let's start off. Let's start discussing. The first thing is that with respect to this strategic business reporting, I have with me the syllabus of the ACCA for the paper SBR, and I shall actually take you through that specific syllabus so that you could have an idea. First of all, there is a relational diagram for the SBR, which I'm sure you people would understand that SBR has got a strong connection with what? SBR has got a strong connection with this FA, which is also termed as F3, this FR, which is also termed as F7, and this is itself the SBR, the P2. So what happens is that whatever the papers, whatever the questions that you have, whatever the topics that you have actually studied at these paper, these topics actually develop, these topics go further, and ultimately they become part and parcel of the strategic business reporting paper. Now, there's something very important which you need to understand, which is that this is almost 90% discussion paper. This is 90% discussion paper. Although the calculations are there, but what happens is that it is majority the discursive questions that are examined. I repeat, it is majority the discursive questions that are examined. So if you will be attempting the SBR, so be ready for this, that it is not just going to be the accounting treatment that you would be sharing, but instead you would be commenting on the treatments that you have done. You would be commenting on the scenarios, you'll be commenting on the situations, and it is going to be one of those situations where it's more and more discussion. So you got to keep this thing in mind when you'll be attempting the SBR. Now, let's just try to understand a bit about how this SBR syllabus is examined through the examine. So when it comes to the SBR, there's basically two sections of the SBR. And with respect to those two sections, there's a section A where you have got one question which is worth 20 mark. There's another question which is worth 30 mark. So the question number one is likely to be a group accounts. The question number one is likely to be a group question, is likely to be a group accounts, and with an element of the multiple accounting standards, which are also going to be examined as part and parcel of this question one. I'll take you through the examination paper. Don't worry about it. I'll take you through the examination paper so that you could see that how the paper is examined actually. So as I said, that question number one, a 30-mark question, will be on consolidation. What is it? It's going to be on consolidation. Now what next is there? The 20-mark question, the next 20-mark question is going to be what? So when you would have this 20-mark question, this is going to be usually a mixture of multiple areas. And then there is this section B where you've got one question which is worth 25 mark. And this is usually on the current issues. And there's another question which is worth 25 marks, which is about the mixed IAS, mixed IFRS. So multiple accounting standards are examined. The multiple accounting standards are examined. That is what happens with respect to this. Now, let's discuss further that what are the syllabus areas, what are the syllabus content. So let's talk. Now, I have also, there are these multiple type of things. So now let me just get through this so that you could have an idea. First of all, there is one area of the syllabus which is fundamental ethical and professional principles. Now, what is this specific area of the syllabus, which is the fundamental ethical and the professional principles? So you need to understand that the examiner has emphasized a lot on the ethics. The examiner has highlighted the significance of the ethics. The examiner has highlighted that for anyone who is going to be attempting this paper, it is important that you actually attempt the ethics. It is important that you know that how do you connect. Jo- okay, it's important that you should know that how you would connect this ethics with the examination scenarios. I repeat, it's important that you need to understand how you would connect the ethics to the examination scenario. So like there might actually be the case where the company's top management might be willing to overstate the revenue, or the company's management may be willing to understate the expenses, or they might not actually be giving a disclosures. So there could be multiple things. I repeat, there could be multiple things that could happen. And when it could be the multiple things that could happen resultingly, this is somewhere or the other could have an impact, could have an ethical situation. So as a student, what you would have to do, I repeat, as a student, what you would have to do is that you would have to you would have to be ready for this, that when you would come across the ethical scenarios, you would have to apply the ethical scenarios to the given situation. The second thing is this financial reporting framework. I think every one of you is aware, every one of you do understands that just like in any country, there is a constitution that actually governs the law. I mean, just like in any specific country, you do understand that there is a constitution that governs the law. I bet you do understand that there is actually a constitution that governs the law. So none of the law could be against the constitution. The same is the role for the financial reporting framework. Same is the role of the financial reporting framework. So when we talk about the financial reporting framework, what actually happens with it is that this financial reporting framework gives you the underlying principle which are going to be used while developing an accounting standard. I repeat, this is one of those things that is going to be used while preparing the accounting standards. So when we talk about, I repeat, when we talk about the financial reporting framework from the perspective of the SBR, what is probably going to happen is that you would come across scenarios, you would come across situation where where the examiner would actually be testing you that how I repeat, the examiner would actually be testing you that how the framework is going to be applicable in a given scenario. So you may actually be required to, I repeat, you may actually be required to answer the questions in such a manner that how does this specific element be treated under IFRS? How is this specific element going to be treated under the framework? So these are the multiple things that you would actually have to keep in mind. Now, then is this reporting the performance of the range of entities, then financial statement of group entities. So you have got a proper group accounts, and then what actually happens is that this is all accounting standards. All the accounting standards that are actually part and parcel of the course will actually be examined here. I repeat, all the accounting standards that are part and parcel of the course will be examined in this specific section, plus the group accounts should be examined in here. Then you would see there is another one which is interpreting financial statement for different stakeholders. Now, what exactly do you mean by interpreting financial statement for different stakeholders? So you could have the investors, you could have the stock exchange, you could have the customers, you could have the creditors, you could have the lenders, etc., etc., etc. There could be different stakeholders of the entity. Even the management itself, the board of directors. So there could be multiple types of stakeholders for a company. And what actually happens is that these stakeholders, When I talk about these stakeholders, everyone wants to look at the company's performance. Everyone wants to know that how the company has performance. Everyone wants to know how the entity has performed. So when we actually talk about, I repeat, the when we actually talk about this specific scenario, so you need to be able to understand this thing. You need to be able to understand this thing that that the examiner would actually be examining the various ways of interpreting the financial performance of the entity, and that is going to be in line with the requirements of the different stakeholders. I repeat, that is actually going to be in line with the requirements of the different stakeholders. That is something that you would have to do. So at times you would be measuring the financial performance. At time you would be at times you would be measuring the non-financial performance. So you will be doing multiple things. Like you would be measuring the financial performance, you would be measuring the non-financial performance. That is what you will be doing. So basically, you have to be ready for this. That you have to be ready for this. That you could be examined. You could actually be given a scenario where you would have to test. I repeat, you could actually be given the scenario where you would have to do the calculations for the different stakeholders, interpret the performance of the entity, and comment that what exactly is going on. Lastly, there's this changes in the regulations. This is termed as the current issue area. This is termed as the current issues area. When we talk about the current issue, it actually refers to the accounting standard that are proposed to be changed, that are proposed to be changed, that are proposed to be introduced. So whatever the amendments that are going to be made in the accounting standards, whatever the new accounting standards that are going to be introduced, ultimately what happens is that this is going to be something that will be covered up. I repeat, this is going to be something. Just wait a bit, please. Okay, so basically what happens is that uh, the various current issues, that is the new accounting standards that are going to be introduced, the changes to the accounting standard that are being proposed. So every single thing is going to be examined. So you would have to keep this thing in mind also. Now, it is to me, I mean, like I would say that the syllabus is lengthy. It's a challenging paper, not an easy paper, requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of time. You got to input a lot of effort. You got to input a lot of time if you have to prepare for the SBR. And remember, it's not just the time recalling, it's the time that is there, that is required for the practice also. You got to practice as much as possible. You got to practice as much as possible. That is also going to be important. I repeat, you got to practice as much as possible. Practice as much as possible. You get it now? Yeah, do you people get it now? Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna open up the list of examinable documents so that you could see. I bet you could see the list of examinable document. And what are the list of examinable documents? That these are the documents that are part and parcel of your course. I repeat, these are the documents that are actually part and parcel of the course. So now what exactly do you mean by this? That these documents are part and parcel of the course. So let's just try to understand this. Basically, these are all, it's a complete list of accounting standard that is part and parcel of the course. There is other standards, the IFRS for SME, etc., etc. So the course is lengthy. I would say it's lengthy. It's not a short course. It's not a small course. It's a long course. But again, You don't have to actually be worried about it. The reason being, the way we are going to be delivering this course is that you will be provided access to the pre-recorded lectures where there are almost every single accounting standard lectures are recorded along with many practice questions. Along with many practice questions, that is something that you would have to keep in mind. So the way what I'm going to do is that I'll be sharing on Thursday, I'll be sharing a planner with all the registered student of our, and in that planner you would actually be provided that what topics to study till what specific date. And in addition to this, what you would also being provided is that, I repeat, it's not just going to be what topic to study, it's also going to be that when is going to be the query class, when is going to be the query class, when is it that we are going to be actually undertaking a query class pertaining to that area. So what you as a student could do is that you could prepare, I repeat, what you could do as a student is that you could actually prepare for the topic in advance, and once we have the query class you could actually ask any question that you would want to ask. Plus there are going to be around 8 assignments that you will be submitting during the session, and in around February, after the 15th of February, there's going to be a 3-day revision session where each of the session is going to be around 5 to 6 hours long. There's going to be a session which is going to be 5 to 6 hours long. And in that specific session, what we will be doing is that we will be actually going through the exam practice questions to the maximum possible extent so that we are able to so that you're able to be ready for the examination to the best of the possibilities. So that is basically how we are going to be going through this specific course of SBR. And let me guide you one thing. When you will look at these lectures, um, when you would actually look at these lectures, you would see that there is an ample amount of practice. I mean, like, there's an ample amount of practice. I've also conducted the revision sessions, ample amount of practice in almost every specific area of the syllabus. Almost a specific area, every specific area of the syllabus, the CB platform practice, etc., etc. So the multiple things that are done. It's just that you got to invest time. You got to invest time. You got to put in an effort. Once you're going to put in an effort, the things are going to be quite easy, inshallah. So the efforts need to be put in. We need to be interactive. We need to be asking more and more queries, because if you as a student would not be taking out time, if you lose discipline, you would not be able to complete this course in 3 months. So I would suggest that if you wanna actually attempt this paper in March, you got to get serious from the day one. If you get serious from the day one, inshallah, nothing is gonna stop you from passing this paper in the first attempt. So that is the best that I could actually suggest to you people in this session of today. For those of you who would like to get in touch with me, so this is my contact number. It's 92331 2366161, and we've got our admin team contact number. Because at times I'm not responsive, so the admin team can actually respond you relatively quickly. 92346666644. That's what it is. So any one of you who would like to have any queries or any issues, you may ask right now. And also, in case if you would like to get in touch with our team, so you've got the numbers. In case if you'd like to get in touch with me, you've got the number. So you can actually get in touch with me also. You can get in touch with me also. That is something that you could do. So basically, that's how things are gonna be. I repeat, that's how the things are gonna be. Yeah, in case if anyone has got any questions, do let me know so that I can actually. Yeah, in case if any one of you has got any questions, do let me know so that I can answer anything you want to ask, anything you want to say, anything that you would want to, any query, anything coming to your mind. Do let me know, please. Yeah, please. Anyone, any question, any issues, any problems, anything that you would like to ask? It's from the next week that we are gonna be starting the live classes. Yes, Junaid, if you don't have any other course, and if you, I mean, like if you can take 3 hours a day, then it's going to be sufficient enough. If you don't have any other course, and if you can take out 3 hours a day, you'll be able to do it in 2.5 months. Okay, Abdul Samad, yes, it's going to be shared. The planner is going to be shared. Wait till Wednesday, it's going to be shared. Uh, okay, which revision kit? Um, you can opt for any of them. BBP is better. BBP is better. Okay, anyone else having any other question, anything that you would like to ask, please? No, Maraba, it's just going to be online. Unfortunately, no physical, because it's mainly uh, the objective is to have the people from multiple jurisdictions into one single batch. So no physical class. It's going to be online class only. Okay, anyone else? Yeah, anyone else, please? Okay, the lessons are going to be around after 9 p.m. Pakistan time, which is like the time that we had a class. Today, it's going to be 1 hour before that. 1 hour before the time we had the class today. So it's going to be 1 hour before that. It's going to be 1 hour before that. Okay. So guys, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for attending the session. I'm going to end the session today. And what I'll do is that I'll inform you people in advance for the next class, which is probably going to be the next week. And you will be informed in advance the topic that we shall be discussing in that class and the things that we are going to be going through. So thanks a lot everyone for attending. Thanks you for your time. It was nice to have you all here. Thank you.